Hello, and if you're here, that means that you need help to understand what intents are. Now, intents are messaging objects which sends information to the Android runtime to tell it that, I want to do something. It's like it sends the messages around, because remember that Android APKs just have a lot of components together, and these components need to talk to each other to know exactly what's happening. So intents are messaging objects that goes around and speaks to the Android runtime in terms of what to do. And if you're here, you just want to learn, how to go from one activity to the next activity. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create an activity. Okay, so I'm just going to click on file. Actually, if you click on file, you can click on this file here, com.example.intent tutorial. That's the name of my package. And I'm going to click on new. And then I am going to click on activity, and I'm going to choose an empty activity. Now, when I'm creating an activity, it will ask you to enter activity name and also the layout name. And then, you can change it to be the launcher activity, or I'm just going to leave it that way. And because the source language is Java, I'm just going to leave it as Java. And I'm going to click on finish. Once I click on finish, you would see that a new activity will be created for me alongside a new activity main too. So what we need to do is we need to create an intent which would initiate and move us from one activity to the other. So on my main activity.java, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to go to my activity main because it's a new project. And inside this project, I believe what I've done is I've just put a button there. I've just made my layout a linear layout, and I've just added a button. And the ID of the button that I've added is called BTN intent example. And then the text of that button can be anything. You can say main activity 2. Okay. Then I'm going to go to my main activity.java. And then in here, what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to find my elements from the activity main. I'm going to bind some actions to it. So I'm just going to do button BTN main activity 2 equals find view by ID r.id, and then I'll find the ID that is BTN intent example. That is my button. And then I'm going to attach an event. So I'm going to add an on-click listener to my button. So let's say BTN main activity dot set on-click listener new, and then it will give me the option of view the on-click listener. And then it's going to generate it for me. And then all I'm going to do here is where we're going to create our intent. So when the person clicks on a button, our button should do something. So what do we want it to do? When it's being clicked, I want it to navigate from one page to the other. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do BTN. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do intent, and then I'm going to do send intent equals new intent, because it's an object, so we're creating. The first parameter or argument that it takes in is that it takes in the context of where you're working from. So currently I'm in main activity.java, so I'll just pass in main activity dot this, and then the second part is where I'm going to. Remember, this is an explicit intent, which means that I need to specify where I am and where I'm going. Now, the difference between explicit intent and implicit intent is that, let's take this scenario, for example. There's somebody called Nana Kofi. Nana Kofi has been sent to buy rice. When he was sent to buy rice, but he wasn't told exactly where to get a rice from. In that case, that would be an implicit intent, because he was sent to buy rice, but he wasn't told where to buy it from. But with an explicit intent, is that Nana Kofi go and buy rice and buy it from Asda. So Nana Kofi knows that the instruction is to buy rice, but to get the rice from Asda. So that's what an explicit intent is. So this is what an explicit intent is. An explicit intent is we are specifying the target location. So in this case, I want a main activity dot this, and I'm going to main activity 2. So I put main activity 2 dot class, and then I'm going to end my code, and then I'm going to start the activity, and then pass in send intent. Now, this code right here would navigate us from one page to the other.